Hey everybody, thank you for clicking on my video. I'm going to skip introductions until the end today and jump right into today's case. Brittany Renee Williams' life started out rough from the day she was born in March of 1993. She was born in Richmond, Virginia, and her mother, Rosemarie Thompson, was diagnosed with AIDS while she was pregnant with Brittany. She tested positive about 3 months before she gave birth to Brittany, and she did pass the disease on to her child. Rosemarie led somewhat of a wild and chaotic lifestyle, and she tried multiple times to get her life together for her child, but she failed to do so. And due to this, little Brittany was in and out of foster care for the first 3 years of her life. In 1996, Rosemarie sadly was close to death, and so she decided to sign over guardianship of 3-year-old Brittany to a lady named Kim Parker. Kim Parker had founded a charity called Rainbow Kids Incorporated that provided help and long-term care to children infected with AIDS as well as children with other medical afflictions. So this is how the two women had met. Kim had seen Brittany and Rosemarie at the hospital and had gone up to them offering help and assistance through her charity. Not only did Kim Parker run this charity, but she also fostered special needs children. So Rosemarie thought, this would be a good person to take care of Brittany for her. She knew she would be passing away soon, and she wanted to give her daughter to someone that could give her a good life. Now, Kim Parker may seem like an absolute saint when you first hear about all the wonderful things she did, but she is not. Kim lived off of the donations from Rainbow Kids Incorporated, as well as the money she received from Medicaid benefits and Social Security benefits that she got for all the children that were in her care. The money from the charity did not go to the children who so desperately needed it. It went to things that Kim wanted, like $18,000 in renovations to her house. Side note, the Rainbow Kids Incorporated charity is no longer in existence. She had this cute yellow house in Henrico, Virginia that looked nice and welcoming on the outside, but according to visitors that came over, the house was disgusting. It was absolutely filthy and cluttered on the inside, and it was no place that children should be living. And several people, including some of the neighbors, reported this to authorities, that the children shouldn't be living in those conditions, and they also reported Kim for abuse and neglect. Little Brittany was living in these horrible conditions and struggling with an incurable illness, but despite this, people that knew her say that she almost always had a smile on her face. She was a very sweet, loving little girl, and she was very aware of her disease. Like, if she got a little cut on her finger or was bleeding, she wouldn't let anyone help her. She knew that if they came in contact with her blood, she could pass the disease to them. She was just a very caring little girl. Kim Parker took Brittany to a doctor's appointment in August of 2000, and this doctor would be one of the last people besides Kim to ever see Brittany alive. Around that time, Kim contacted Brittany's biological aunt, claiming that the aunt needed to take her, that it was just too stressful to take care of Brittany, that Brittany was a troublemaker. She claimed Brittany, who was 7 years old at the time, was flirting with men that were working on renovations to her house. And she said it was just too stressful and that she hadn't expected Brittany to live as long as she did, which shows you just how little Kim cared about Brittany. Kim told the aunt that if she did not immediately take Brittany, that she was going to send Brittany off with 2 ladies that she knew, and that the ladies would be taking Brittany away to California. A couple of days later, the aunt called Kim back and said that, she would be willing to babysit Brittany more regularly, but she could not take Brittany on and adopt her and watch her full time because she had 3 kids of her own, and she wouldn't be able to keep up with Brittany's extensive medical needs. Kim told her she was too late, that she had already given Brittany to 2 women named Linda Hodges and Kathy Evans, who were people that had volunteered for the Rainbow Kids Incorporated charity. And she refused to give the aunt any information as to where they took Brittany, any address or phone number, so she could stay in contact with her. In November of 2000, Kim was arrested for truancy because Brittany did not show up for the new school year. However, Kim, claimed that she no longer had custody of Brittany, and so the case was dismissed and no other questions were asked. Not a single person bothered to, do a checkup on that. Kim told people that Linda Hodges had returned to Virginia around Christmas time with Brittany, and that they had stayed for Christmas and then went back to California. But no one else there saw them when they were supposedly in town for the holidays. Kim claimed she paid Linda $3,000 to take Brittany and then mailed her another $5,000, and that she had not heard from them since. In 2001, Brittany was scheduled for a paternity test, which obviously she did not show up for, and Kim had to appear in court to give an explanation as to why she did not take Brittany to this appointment. Kim told the same judge as before that Brittany was now living with relatives, so once again the judge dismissed it and no one bothered to follow up or check into it. Even though she claimed to no longer have Brittany in her care, she continued to collect the $500 benefit check every single month from the Virginia Department of Children and Families until sometime in the summer of 2002, and she used this money to do even more renovations to her house. She claimed that she thought it was okay to keep the money because she thought that eventually she would be taking care of Brittany again. In 2003, there was a newspaper who had previously run a story on Brittany, and they wanted to do a follow-up story. And when they went to Kim Parker, she told them that Brittany was no longer in her care and that she had no idea where Brittany was, that she might be somewhere in California. The reporters did report this to social services, and this finally prompted them to take action when they realized that no one had seen Brittany in almost 2.5 years. Custody of Brittany was given to social services and they were told to find her, and police opened up a missing persons investigation. Kim continued to claim that she had no idea where Brittany was, so she was held in contempt of court and ordered to serve 20 days in jail. Investigators were finally able to locate the two women that supposedly had Brittany, and guess what? They didn't. They didn't have her. They had never had her. They had no clue where she was or what was going on. Kim had been lying the entire time. The ladies said that they had tried to make plans for Brittany to come visit them in California, but the plans have never finalized and the trip never happened. The two women, Linda Hodges and Kathy Evans, did join in the search for her, and it actually turned out that Linda Hodges had been one of the people who had reported Kim for abuse and neglect in the past. When authorities checked to see if Brittany's social security number or her Medicaid card had been used anywhere in the United States, it had not. This little girl had AIDS. There was medication she needed that was vital to keeping her alive, and she wouldn't have been able to get this medication or fill prescriptions or even see a doctor without her social security number or her Medicaid card. In April of 2003, Kim was indicted on 73 charges of fraud and money laundering. She accepted over $16,000 worth of personal donations and money from the government, as well as $8,000 from Social Security and Medicaid for aid in Brittany's care when Brittany was not even with her anymore. A search of Kim's home was conducted, and they were looking for any signs or clues that a homicide had taken place. They searched every inch of that house, and they even dug up her yard and they drained her septic tank looking for Brittany's body. However, authorities found absolutely nothing. In December of 2003, Kim Parker was sentenced to 8 years in federal prison for the fraud and money laundering, and an additional 2 years for the state charges of Medicaid fraud. That is a very high sentence for those charges. I'm sure it depends on someone's, prior criminal history, but I believe the normal sentence for those charges is only around a year to a year and a half. So I think the judge gave her a much higher sentence because of, the harm that came to Brittany and her absolute refusal to cooperate and tell them where she was. She refused to disclose Brittany's whereabouts. However, she was never charged with anything concerning Brittany's disappearance. No one has seen Brittany since that last doctor's appointment that she had in August of 2000. She has not been located, and due to her medical condition, it's highly unlikely that she would still be alive today without receiving, the medical attention that she needed to keep her alive. There was medicine she had to take. Foul play is suspected in her case, so I'm not really sure why no action was ever taken. She slipped through the cracks, people weren't paying attention, and no one was held accountable. Brittany would be 27 years old now. I personally believe that Kim killed Brittany and disposed of her body because I think she considered it a burden taking care of a sick child, and she didn't want to do it anymore. I mean, she had already said she hadn't expected Brittany to live as long as she did, so I mean, that speaks volumes. And I think the only reason she took Brittany in the first place and why she took in any of those foster kids was because it was an easy paycheck to her. She just wanted the money. I suppose it is possible that Brittany died of natural causes due to her disease, and that maybe Kim kept it quiet so she could keep receiving the checks. But either way, I think it's absolutely sickening that Kim Parker was never held accountable. Her lips are sealed. She is never going to say a word or tell the truth about what happened to Brittany. I truly believe that. At the time of her disappearance, Brittany was 3 feet 8 inches tall and around 65 pounds. She is biracial and has black hair and brown eyes. She has a scar on the left side of her chest from a medical procedure. Anyone with information is urged to contact the Henrico County Police Department at 804-501-5000 or the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children at 1-800-THE-LOST. Authorities have not received any leads in a very long time, and it's so heartbreaking because she does still have some family members around, and she does have people that remember her, and they're not going to forget about her, and they would like to have closure. You know, they would at least like to have her remains back so they can lay her to rest. Please keep Brittany's case out there by sharing her flyer, sharing this video, and sharing her story. Thank you all so much for watching. If you are new to my channel, hi, my name is Casey, and I do videos on the lesser known missing person cases that haven't received a lot of media attention, and I post them every single Wednesday. I mean absolutely no harm in doing these videos. I am simply trying to spread awareness, and if you would like to support me, please give this video a like and hit that subscribe button. I would appreciate it so very much. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.